Hello and welcome to the Divorce to Bliss podcast. Here you will learn all things related to healing from divorce, mind, body, and spirit, so you can create a beautiful new life filled with happiness. I'm Rachel Ruby, author of Divorce to Bliss, divorce coach, speaker, and attorney, and I'm so glad you found me here. Hello and welcome to the Divorce to Bliss podcast. I'm Rachel Ruby, and today we are going to be talking about something that I have coined hiccups and also reverse hiccups. Now, if you've read my book, you may know what this means. If not, don't worry. We're going to talk a little bit about it, and we're going to talk about how to get out of this phase. So, you know, when sometimes you get hiccups and you can't get rid of them, right? And they're kind of pesky and bothersome. That is the term that I use, or I coined, for when we start having doubts about getting a divorce, about what we're going through, because the healing process can be very difficult, and it can also be scary because it is a big journey and there's a lot of work involved. And so when I coined this term hiccups, I was talking about when we have those little setbacks where we feel doubt. Maybe we shouldn't have done this. What did I do? Oh my gosh, I ruined my life, whatever it is. So the first thing to know is that just like with regular hiccups, this is only temporary and they will go away eventually. Okay. And there are some things you can do to help them go away. So first of all, this is an interesting fact. There was a study done that in the first year after divorce, 3/4 of the couples, of those couples, one or both partners was regretting the divorce or having doubts. So if you think you're alone, you're not. And it's really important to realize this because it'll make you feel better just to get started. So also it's interesting to note, and I see this with my coaching clients as well, that most of the time we start feeling these hiccups when something happens in that first year after divorce, such as we get sick, or a child gets sick, or something happens at work. Maybe you lose a job, or you need help in some way. Maybe something breaks in the house and your former spouse used to be the one who took care of all those kinds of things. Or maybe you have a setback financially. Whatever it is, a lot of the time when we experience something like this, something that feels earth-shattering in the moment, that is when we start to doubt our leaving our marriage and getting the divorce. And we start to wonder if that was a good idea. And like I said, it's normal. So the first thing to tell yourself is, I need to feel these feelings. It's okay. And ask yourself why you're feeling those feelings, because you will likely have some interesting answers and you will likely realize that there is a reason for this. And oftentimes it is, that reason has to do with something that you are facing as a challenge. Okay. So knowing that these feelings are temporary and feeling these feelings and telling yourself that you're not the only one who's experienced them is the first step. And the next thing that you can do to really help yourself is to write down the feelings you're having. And it doesn't matter if you write it in a journal or a notebook or an e-journal, but wherever you write it, try to, and hopefully when you're going through the healing process, you're making journaling a habit. And so you want to keep all of these together and in order, because it's really helpful during the healing process to go back and look at things that you went through and see how you got through them. And it also will help you to realize that you really are healing. So it's a wonderful thing to have. So write down the feelings that you're having, write down why you're having those feelings, anything else you may have discovered about those feelings. And, oftentimes, I found, at least during my healing journey, that when I wrote things down, when I wrote my feelings down, it was almost like I was letting them go. I was taking them out of just my mind and my heart and putting them somewhere else in this place, in my journal. And when I closed those pages for the day, I would tell myself, those feelings are in there now. I don't have to take guard over them any longer. And it really helped me to visualize that and get through. And then also another way that you can help yourself when you are feeling overwhelmed or when you are feeling these hiccups, these doubtful feelings, is to get physical. And I talk about this a lot in my book, Divorce to Bliss. And it's one of the things that is so, so critical every day when you're healing. Every day, and every day for the rest of your life. You should definitely be doing something physical because it creates endorphins. It stimulates your body to be healthy, just like going out in the sun gives you vitamin D. Exercise and physical activity make you feel better all over, mentally, emotionally, physically. And if you're going through a healing process, especially, you need to get physical. So if you are feeling these hiccups, you need to get out there and do something. Some people love to cycle. Some people love to climb, walk, run, go to the gym. It doesn't really matter. Gardening. You can go and garden, just break out a sweat and be outside in nature. And that's a wonderful thing. And you can turn on some of your favorite music and dance. That's one of my favorite things to do almost every day. But definitely when I'm feeling frustrated or when I would feel these hiccups, I would just dance. And after sometimes an hour of that, sometimes 15, 20 minutes, I'd be sweaty and I'd stop and I would just feel lighter. So I promise you that physical exercise helps immensely. Whatever you do, do not just sit there on your couch and watch TV. In fact, watching TV is not a good thing at all when you're healing, in my opinion. So unless you're going to watch a funny movie, stay away from mainstream media, stay away from television as much as you can, and really focus on positive, wonderful things that can help you. And this applies to all of your healing throughout your healing process, but definitely to when you're experiencing these hiccups. And lastly, support networks. You need to have really strong support networks. And I'm going to do a whole podcast on how to establish these and what types of people need to be in your support group. But for now, let's just simply say that if someone is supporting you who does not truly value your judgments, your calls, what you want your new life to be, and is trying to tell you what they think your new life should be, that's not the right person to be in your support network. So if you have those people who truly support you and love you and want you to make the decisions that you want to make and will be there for you to help you through it, those are the right people. Get out there with those people, go see a funny movie, go do something wonderful, walk through your town, skip through your town, go on a bike ride, whatever it is, and just be with those people. And those are some great ways to get through these hiccups. Now, there's another part of hiccups that I coin reverse hiccups. And this is when your former spouse is having all kinds of feelings. I call it, being in a victim state. Again, there will be a whole podcast dedicated to this. But when we're in a victim state, we really feel that we are not in control of things that are happening to us. Everything happens to us rather than us determining what is going to happen in our lives and for ourselves. And if you're in a victim state, you cannot heal. And of course, we all get into victim mode at some point and many points in our lives. That's normal. We're human. We have emotions. So don't belittle yourself for feeling that way, but just recognize it. However, if you have a former spouse who is in that victim state and constantly blaming or shaming you, telling you that you ruined their life, you caused this divorce and destroyed the family and this and that, this can be really difficult to deal with. And there are some ways to get through it. So, and it really also is going to depend on whether there are children involved. So if there are children involved and you are dealing with this spouse who is having reverse hiccups, then you're going to need to set some boundaries so that you can be protected with how you are feeling and not getting yourself into the victim mode. So one of the things that you can do with this former spouse is have a conversation with them, or if that's not possible and they don't want to talk to you or it's too difficult to talk to them, you can send an email or a text and say, look, I understand you're having a hard time. And, I hope that in time you will heal. But right now we need to make a schedule to communicate with each other about the children. And so you can have either where you text each other or you email each other, and you can have maybe some code words if it's even needed. 911 is obviously an emergency. If a child needs to be picked up, you can have a code word for that. You can just use the child's first name. Charlie's waiting at school for you. Real simple. And you can connect with this former spouse via in writing and determine what works best, and let them know that you want to do what's best for them as well, so that the children are benefited, because that is who's the most important. And so you're hoping to put aside any feelings of anger or blame or shame when you have to communicate with each other about the children, so that the children don't suffer. And that's really important. And hopefully you can find a way to do this. If not, you might need some help, and you can talk to someone like me who is a divorce healing coach. You can talk with a energy worker, with a therapist. There's so many people who can help you learn exactly what you need to say so that you can help your former spouse to communicate with you in a way that is going to benefit the children. Also, I want to talk about other ways that we can deal with these situations, whether it is hiccups of our own or reverse hiccups. So we talked about seeking guidance. We talked about writing down the feelings. We talked about getting physical and getting exercise. We talked about support networks. Also, meditation is a great thing to learn because it really helps you focus on your being present, focusing on your breath and just being here right now, not worrying about what's going to happen tomorrow or what happened last week, and just focusing on the moment and being grateful for being here in this moment right now and expressing your gratitude. And this is such a wonderful way to heal. And so those things can all help you. Also, we want to learn to let go, which is a huge undertaking, but it's definitely necessary when we are trying to heal. And a lot of people think letting go just involves letting go of a person, but it also involves letting go of situations, letting go of ideals, letting go of societal stereotypes and rules that we've been taught since we were little. And there is a whole podcast that goes into all of this in depth for you, so you can really learn about the different ways to let go and how to do it. But it is definitely something you're going to need to do during the healing process, and especially when you're dealing with these hiccups and these reverse hiccups. The next thing you can do to help you with hiccups and reverse hiccups is to sign up for some self-betterment classes. And there are wonderful apps out there where you can take classes to learn to heal yourself in many different ways. Most of those ways I talk about in the book, but sometimes people learn better by audio visual. And so if that is the case, you can sign up for a class and learn how to focus better, learn how to meditate, learn how to speak your truth more, learn how to handle other people when they have challenges, when they present challenges to you. So all of those are great tools to help you with hiccups and reverse hiccups. And if you have any further questions about this or would like some guidance, please message me, and you can do so by going to my website and emailing me, or you can comment here on the YouTube video. I hope this has been helpful to you today, and thank you so much for joining me. Can't wait to be with you again for the next episode of the Divorce to Bliss podcast. Have a beautiful day and a wonderful week.